Good morning and happy Tuesday, Facebook lovers. I wanted to share, I've come outside this morning because it's school holidays and my kids have taken over the whole entire house, which is fine. Good morning, Margaret. So I thought it would be really fantastic and awesome, and we've got some gardening by the sounds of it behind us. So if it gets prohibitive, please let me know. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Margaret. If it's too loud, let me know and I'll take you guys inside. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you today, I was running a group coaching call this morning actually, and one of the topics was around, one of the questions actually was around not knowing, I guess, like how to share what it is that you want to share or need to share when you don't know what it is that you need to share, right? So I guess this comes down to content, it comes down to doing Facebook Lives, it comes down to creating courses and stuff like that. So I wanted to make this really, really super simple for you. Now, that noise is really distracting me. Bear with me, I didn't want to have to be in my office today while I did this, but it might just end up being, I don't know if that's any better. Let's hop inside. Okay, so one of the big things that is a huge problem is that people get often stuck with what to say. So I want you to think about how that feels when you're stuck with something to say. Hopefully the kids will stay away and we'll hang out in here. So think about how you're feeling when you are stuck with not knowing what to say. So is it about work? Is it about business? Is it about grief? Is it about content? Is it about cooking? Is it about whatever? And one of the best pieces of advice that I could possibly give you is to grab a notebook, grab a Word document, and actually start writing about how you're feeling. So, for example, about middle of last year, I had some really nasty people do some really nasty things around, like, to me, essentially. And so what I did was I wrote really from my heart around how I was feeling, what I was thinking, and just how absolutely devastated actually I was. And at one point I was literally crying on the floor in my office, sobbing my heart out, just being like, this is just bullshit. This is just too hard. Why am I bothering? All of that kind of stuff. And I actually made the decision at that point to keep going. Now, sorry guys, this is the most unprofessional Facebook Live on the planet. So I made that decision to keep going. I made that decision to keep running my business. I made that decision to, I made the decision where I decided that I was not going to let that crap get in the way of me helping people like you. So when I wrote this really big kind of like heartfelt post or a piece of writing, it was more to help me versus anyone else. But what actually ended up happening was there was this huge response back about how encouraging it was. It's really nice to know that it's not just me that goes through this. It's really nice to know that even after 8 years or 7 years at that point, stuff still happens to you, and that can really help people to feel somewhat normal. So another thing that I remember doing in 2014 was I wrote a really cool free thing that was called The Rich Bitch Guide to Having It All. And the way that I promoted that was with some copy that went something along the lines of, things aren't always going to be easy, right? Things aren't always going to be super simple. Things are that the business is a roller coaster of emotion, of energy, of motivation. Some days you feel more motivation, some days you feel less, some days you feel brilliant, and some days you feel like shit. So I think in the world, one of the things that really shits me about the whole social media industry and the marketing industry and digital people and online marketers is that they paint this really amazing picture around how amazing life is 100% of the time. You know, they've got the Ferraris in the garage or the Lambos parked out on the street and, you know, this, that, and the other, and they're sunning themselves by the pool. But what they don't show is the trials, the tribulations, the heartache. They only share the wins and the joys. And what that actually does is that it sets up a lot of people to think that they are failing constantly all the time because they haven't had that overnight success, which honestly has probably taken, 5 to 10 years to actually build up to get, or 24 hours a day of working over the space of 5 years, right? Oh, hey, Tamara, awesome to see you. So, I think that the big thing that I want you to really be sharing with your people are the things that are normal for you. I want you to share, not when you're in the moment necessarily. I want you to share the stuff that you have worked through, how you worked through it, and what the result has been. So it's almost like a documentation of the process that you've worked through versus trying to come up with some amazingly captivating piece of content that will probably feel contrived if you're sitting there trying to work out what the hell to say, right? So I really think that is one of the easiest, most simple ways that you can put stuff out there and really connect with your people. Right, Tamara, I feel frozen, like I don't have the right to share things that I'm not applying completely. Yeah, so you don't have to be embodying every single thing that you teach every moment of the day in order to be able to build value for your people, right? There might be one thing that you do today that is going to help you, that is also going to help someone else. And that might be where you jump on and you talk about switching off. When you say, you know what, guys, I just wanted to jump in here for like maybe 2 minutes and let you know that it's okay to have a really shitty day. That it's okay to feel like you don't have your shit together today. It's okay if you to go and have a tantrum in the corner. And then you know what I want? I want you to get in there and do the Taylor Swift, just shake it off and get back on the horse. Because here's what we also know. If we're constantly trying to push through and constantly trying to just go and hustle our way through the demotivation periods, those moments of self-doubt, then it's almost like the opposite can happen to really what it is that you want to happen. So we can end up burned out. It has a physical effect on our bodies because cortisol starts pumping through. So our stress levels go up, our adrenals burn out, we become more tired, and then we can't sleep properly, and that affects our biorhythms, it affects our mindset, it affects our weight, it affects our motivation, which then in turn affects our relationships with our partners, with our children, and with our clients, and then it becomes insidious, right? So there are times where it's appropriate for you to suck it up and get the fuck on with what it is that you need to do. But then there are other times where it's really appropriate for you just to say, you know what? You are not going to get the best of me today. So here's what I'm doing. And then if you're using that as your content piece, right, then it's going to help people to go, wow, she's actually human. Or wow, he gets me. Or wow, like, thank God I don't always have to be on all of the freaking time, yeah? So there are times where it's appropriate to do that. And then the other times where you might be having a really amazing day, make sure you're sharing that as well. Share tips, hints, advice, talk about the journey, talk about your history. You are an expert in you, right? You are the best at being you. You are the best person to tell your stories. You are the best person to share your experiences, your insights. Now, yes, there is 100,000 billion trillion people in your industry, and that's awesome, but there is no one who can explain things in the way that you do because no one else has experienced your exact life lived your exact reality, walked in your shoes, and all those other cliches and metaphors. Okay? So there's some hints and tips on what to share when you're not sure what to share, but you know you have to share something. A really big piece of advice here that I really hope you guys take away is Facebook are prioritizing video content. All right, they really are. So what I really strongly encourage you guys to do is to make sure that when you're having these moments of like, all right, I'm going to go do that now, I'm going to go and do this, go and press start on your Facebook Live buttons on your business page. If you're in business or if you want to build a personal brand and you don't have a Facebook business page, you have to go and create one like yesterday. Go and do it. Put it under your name and just get out there. That way, it doesn't matter what it is that you sell in the future, it's under your name, which is the best way that you can future-proof what it is that you're doing. So jump over there. Just start putting content out there. Start publishing content. Facebook eats content like a never-ending hungry machine, right? It is one of the biggest platforms, and I know that some of you are probably sitting there thinking, oh, but my people aren't on Facebook, or it's blah, 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 we don't get any reach, we don't get this, we don't get that. It is such a huge beast, and it is not going anywhere. So you've got to have a page, you've got to have a presence, because people are going to research you. Actually, I made the decision yesterday to throw myself out of my comfort zone and actually apply to a couple of different publications to be a guest contributor. And one of the things in this application to be a contributor to one of these mags was that I had to put all of my social media profiles, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, what else did I have to put up? On my website, I had to provide references for other writing that I've done and for other videos that I've done. So if you are wanting to be a speaker, be a trainer, get on the circuit, if you're wanting to do anything like that, then it's really critical and important that you have a presence, that you're constantly putting out content, not only to keep the Facebook gods happy, but also to show other platforms that are also content machines that you have got something to say, that you're different, that you're unique, and that you've got massive experience in doing what it is that you're doing. So that's a couple of little tips today. What to say when you're not sure what to say and you know you have to say something, and make sure that you're using video. All right. Have an amazing Tuesday. Any questions, let me know. Tamara, have an amazing Monday night. I know that you're over in, I think you're still in Pensacola. So hope it's lovely over there. Have a beautiful, amazing time, and I'll chat with you guys tomorrow. Bye.